It is a creed with masses of people who have at best a vague notion of the mechanism of evolution as proposed by Darwin, let alone is further complicated by successors, which are the ones that really jumped on the bandwagon. Clearly, the appeal cannot be that of scientific truth, but of a philosophical belief, which is not difficult to identify. Darwinism is a belief in the meaninglessness of existence. And sadly, that's what's being taught to our kids today. And then, of course, Romans 1:21, although they knew God, they didn't glorify him as God, nor were thankful, but they became futile in their thoughts, imaginations, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Now, here's another quote. Very interesting. This person says, this goes to show Romans 1:21, which we just read. He says, I had motives for not wanting the world to have a meaning. For myself, as no doubt for most of my contemporaries, the philosophy of meaningless was essentially an instrument of liberation. Which is an irony because Jesus said he came to set us free, and if he sets you free, you're free indeed. And yet these people, ironically, want to be free from God, and they can't because they're created in his image, and they're just messing themselves up.
And the truth will set you free.
The truth shall set you free, right. The liberation we desired was simultaneously liberation from a certain system of morality. I wonder what system of morality he's talking about there.
Yeah.
We objected to the morality because it interfered with our sexual freedom. There it is. We objected to the political and economic system because it was unjust. They think it's unjust. Just like the communists think capitalism is unjust. And in many ways, it is, but not because it's intrinsically flawed. It's because men are flawed, and they exploit other men. Okay. The supporters of these systems claim that in some way they embodied a meaning, and there it is, a Christian meaning, meaning they insist of the world. There was one admirably simple method of confusing these people and at the same time justify ourselves in our political and erotic revolt. We laid it right on the line, unashamedly. We could deny that the world had any meaning whatsoever, i.e. there's no God, and we're law unto ourselves, we can do whatever we want and define what's right and wrong. Who said that? Aldous Huxley, in his book Ends and Means. He was a firm supporter, promoter of Darwinism. But here we go, back to reality. Isaiah 29:16. You turn things upside down, as if the potter were thought to be like the clay. Shall what is formed say to him who formed it, he didn't make me. That's what the atheist evolutionist is saying. You didn't make me. I'm random process of the end result of a bunch of random processes. Can the pot say to the potter he knows nothing? No, he can't, really. The fool has said in his heart, Psalm 14:1-3, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none who does good. The Lord looks down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there are any who understand, who seek God. They have all turned aside. They have all together become corrupt. There's none who does good, no, not one. And to me, that sort of defines what the evolutionists are doing. They've become corrupt. So what's at the heart of Darwinism then? If it's not scientific, if it's philosophical, it doesn't make logical sense. It's not supported by the scientific evidence. It's scientifically bankrupt. Then why is it so fervently believed and promoted? Well, I think the answer is this. It's a foundation of the religion of humanism. And it's the defined religion of the atheist. The Supreme Court actually defined humanism as a religion, as if that settles it. But Darwinism allows the atheist to have a sophisticated excuse for not believing in God, and Darwinism allows a person to engage in an immoral lifestyle without perceived, notice I say perceived, accountability to divine authority, but they're still accountable. And many of them, unfortunately, are reaping the consequences of their immorality. So at the end of the day, Darwinian evolution is nothing more than wishful thinking, self-delusion, elaborate hoax. It's being self-perpetuated by a powerful interest group, the humanists. It doesn't appear to be a proven scientific fact after all. So, PBS, TV promotes a humanist agenda. That's what keeps it alive, keeps it going. It's popular but deceptive. There's a limit to the resources by billionaire financiers who benefit from the humanist agenda. Popular magazines like Scientific American, it's run actually by non-professional scientists, and it's not peer-reviewed, believe it or not. Scientific American's not peer-reviewed. They're the ones that always come out with these you know, not velociraptors, but, what do they call them? The birds, the Archaeopteryx that they supposedly discovered in China and all this, and then it turned out to be a hoax that some farmer put two fragments together, glued them together, but they were all out on it. Okay. And then National Geographic, which proactively promotes humanistic philosophy and lifestyle, which is very popular. Science and technology agencies such as NASA and GPL, they promote it. And then secular educational organizations that are very powerful, like the National Science Foundation. So the real issue is this. Dr. George Wald, the professor emeritus at biochemistry at the Harvard University, shared the Nobel Prize in that field in 1967, wrote this, very honest. He says there's only two and this is an atheist speaking. There are only two possibilities as to how life arose. One is spontaneous generation rising to evolution, which we saw was take place. The other is a supernatural creative act of God. He's got that right. Those are the only two explanations for how things got here. Spontaneous generation rising to evolution and all life. The other is a supernatural creative act of God. There's no third possibility. And there isn't. But he goes on, spontaneous generation, that life arose from non-living matter, was scientifically disproven 120 years ago by Louis Pasteur and others, Francisco Redi. That leaves us with only one possible conclusion, that life arose as a supernatural creative act of God. I will not accept that philosophically. Right on. That's why. It's not science that you're rejecting. It's philosophically rejecting the truth. I do not want to believe in God. Therefore, I choose to believe in that which I know is scientifically impossible. Spontaneous generation arising to evolution, unquote. That is really the heart and mind of evolutionists. They choose not to believe. Not because of the science, but because they choose not to believe that there's a God. So, it's a blind faith.